If you are going to the gym regularly, but your arms aren't growing, you are doing everything your favorite influencer told you, but your clothes never feel tighter, you are trying your best, but still can't bounce your pecs, and you're feeling helpless. Then sit back, relax, and let me tell you what's really going on and what you can do about it. But first, let's clarify what's probably not the reason why you're not seeing results. Your exercise selection and your workout split, probably not the reason. Low or high volume, probably not the reason either. Your food selection itself, no, these are just some of the things that most people are trying to change when they're not seeing the results they're expecting, while in reality, other way more fundamental things are off. Let's get that quickly out of the way. If you're training 5 times per week, but sometimes it's 4 and then 3, and then you are off for a couple of weeks or a month for a holiday, click the YouTube search bar and search how to stick to a training schedule and what's something that is probably more relevant to your situation. You can expect from something to work if you're not doing it. This video is mainly for those of you that are already doing the one and only thing that doesn't require any knowledge at all, which is showing up. I really can't stress this enough. Most people think that they will grow just because they're going to the gym and going through the motions day in and day out. The reality is that you have to push close to and occasionally beyond your limits in order to see any remarkable growth. I have been working out for almost 10 years now, and the vast majority of people that I'm seeing in the gym are doing sets with 8 or even more reps in reserve. That might work for a year, maybe 2, but eventually, once your body adapts to the newly induced stimulus, your growth will plateau. For reference, that's what a 1 to 2 reps in reserve set looks like. Most of your training should look like that. In order to build muscle, you need to eat in a caloric surplus and ensure that your protein intake is high enough. This means that your weight will inevitably go up, even at a slow rate. If you're eating in a surplus and after a month or 2 your weight is still the same or even decreased by a little bit, guess what? You're not eating in a surplus and you should eat more. Aim for around 1 to 2% increase of your body weight per month. This range is pretty big and you can be easily within it, without even tracking everything you eat. Also aim for around 1.5 to 2 grams of protein per body weight daily, and you're good to go. I've dedicated a whole video on how to track your food and how to plan your gaining phases in general, so I won't dive deeper here. You can find a link for this in the description. Our body is recovering from the damage we are inducing through resistance training while we are sleeping. This makes sleep the single most important thing for our recoverability, or in other words, for getting bigger. You might be sleeping too little or your sleep quality might be poor. Aim for at least 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep per night. What I've noticed that improves my sleep quality by quite a bit is reducing my screen time around an hour before bed, leaving a 2 to 3 hour window between my dinner and my bedtime, and always going for a walk right after my last meal because this helps with digestion. Also taking a hot shower a couple of hours before going to bed because it basically relaxes me and helps my body decrease its core temperature. All this might seem trivial and small, but eventually they stack up. Now, if all these are on point and you are still not seeing progress, then my best bet is that you're lifting consistently for more than 3 years. And one of 2 things is happening. Your rate of progress has slowed down by quite a bit, and this is normal. At this stage, it is really hard to notice changes on your body or improvements on your lifts from week to week. If this is the case, you have to trust the process and create the most anabolic environment possible and observe changes on a monthly or even on a quarterly basis, or one or a combination of the things that are probably not the reason are the reason. Yeah, those 5 things that I mentioned in the beginning of the video. If you're training with relatively low volume, try to increase your volume progressively and observe how this affects your performance. If you're training with ultra high volume and you're not taking any rest days or deloads occasionally, then you might be actually overtraining. If this is the case, it might be a good idea to take a week off and start fresh with half the volume that you're currently doing. Then gradually build up your volume as you feel that your training becomes less and less challenging. If neither of the above applies, then consider switching up some exercises, especially for the body parts that are lagging behind. However, it is fairly uncommon for all your exercises to be unproductive. Chances are your execution needs improvement. Focus on performing each set with a good range of motion, especially on the lengthened part, and maintain a controlled centering while concentrating on the working muscle. The last thing you should check on is your food selection. If you're eating foods if you're hitting your macros and you're eating mainly clean, then your food selection is 100% not the reason you are not seeing the results you are expecting. To be clear, I'm not saying that eating more healthy and more nutrient-rich foods can affect your progress and performance. I'm just saying that the difference a change like that can make is so trivial that you shouldn't really worry about it. If all of these have been in place for more than a year and your progress is still stalled, then you have 2 options. Give up and try some other sports. There are so many sports that you can do. Or use anabolic steroids to get the results you always wanted. You have to hire a coach. It's almost certain that one or more of the things that I mentioned are happening. You are just not able to observe them, or your tracking methods are not accurate. A great coach will be able to guide you through your plateau and pinpoint all the reasons behind your progress stalling. You don't have to work with him forever. Just a couple of months, or if you can afford it, for a year, can have a really huge impact on the way you approach your training. These were my 2 cents on the topic. Train strictly, train hard, and results will come. And subscribe for more. Cheers!